Hey everyone, welcome to my new quick tip tutorial, and we are looking at the retro futuristic design I've done last week, and I've got few requests on how to create a hover car like this, and I thought it will be great opportunity to extract that in a form of a short tutorial. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see how to create designs like this, hit that subscribe button and the bell button to get notified when I release something new. If you like content like this, please hit that like button, it really helps the channel. And remember, if you're new to the world of 3D and Blender and you want to learn in most efficient and fastest way possible, go ahead and check out my courses on polygonrunway.com. There's a lot of content there that will help you getting from zero to hero in the shortest amount of time possible. So if you're interested, please go check it out. And now let's jump into empty Blender scene and let's model some hover car. The great way to start is to identify the basic shapes that create the model you want to make. In this case, there are these two cylinders on the side, and then we have that spherical glass cockpit. So I'll start with those shapes and then build the rest of the car around it. Let's press Shift A, and great news, Ron from our group referred me to a new screencast add-on that's much better in capturing all of the keystrokes. So if I now create something and press sequence of button GZ, I don't know, 20, you can see every event gets captured here, so you'll probably have better time understanding what I'm doing on the keyboard here. That's just on a side note. Thank you, Ron, for this recommendation. You can find him on social media channels under the Lucid Man Studio. So thank you again. And let's now continue. I will press X and delete everything. And let's press Shift A and start with the cylinder. And I want to go here and modify this to 12 segments. I want to start really low poly, and now tab in, press R, X, 90 to rotate these 90 degrees. And I will press S and Y and scale this on the Y axis. And now S and Shift Y to scale only on X and Z axis like this. Now we can additionally rotate this, press 3 for face select, select this back face and scale it down. So we have this kind of design going on. And now we can press A to select all, press G, then X and move it to the side. And let's go to the modifiers tab and let's add the mirror modifier. This will kind of define the proportions of the car. So we can now press G, then X and refine those and basically determine how wide and how long the car will be, or the hover car. So something like this should be enough. And right now I want to create some loop cuts. So let's press Ctrl R, create a loop cut in the front and one in the back. And now we can tab out and let's create that cabin. So I'll press Shift A, go to the mesh and round cube. If you don't have this option here, go to the preferences and enable extra objects add-on. That will add these bunch of different options here for you, and you can enter and you'll be able to create a round cube, but you'll need to switch the preset to quad sphere and reduce the number of divisions here to 4. So this will give us a nice object to create glass cockpit like that. UV sphere is not a great way how to do that, and this will be better for subdivision modifier later as well. Now we'll tab in, I will press 1 on the numpad for a front view and hold Z to toggle X-ray. And again, if you don't have that option there, you can go to the preferences and activate extra pie menu items that will create these additional options to toggle overlays and toggle X-ray right within the Z menu. Now I'll press K, click somewhere here and press C, then Z to activate snapping and cut through and create a cut like this so we can get rid of everything underneath. I'll press X and delete those vertices. And now let's scale this down. I'll look from the top a little bit. And let's scale it on the Y-axis. So it's a little bit protruded. And now I will select these vertices in the back, press O for proportional editing, press G then Y and protrude it even more so it looks a little bit more like a droplet. Okay, and right after that I can just go ahead, let me first disable the proportional editing by pressing O. And let's select all these vertices on the side and delete them. Now we can tab out, shift click the original cylinder and press Ctrl J to join it. It will be added to that object, so the mirror modifier will apply there as well. And now we can enable clipping. So let's tab in and we can continue and now just join these objects together. But before we do, we kind of need to determine where the cylinder ends and basically the hood and the trunk will start. So Let me toggle the X-ray, and I think somewhere here will be just fine. So select this face right here and hold Control and click right here to select this part of that face loop, and now press X and delete faces. So we have a little bit of an opening right here, but remember, since we did those cuts here, we don't want to delete these. And now what I want to do is to place that cabin on the same level. So let's hover over the cabin and press L to select linked. And now I'll go right here and switch snapping to vertex, but I won't enable snapping because we can do that anytime by holding Control. So right now we can press G, then Z, and hold Control and snap it to this vertex right here, and that will give this same level. Okay, we can press Ctrl R and create a one new loop cut here and add some additional ones here, and you will see we'll be able to connect the cabin to the rest of the geometry like this, and maybe one more here. Not so much in the front, something like this. We can do this, select these faces, and now we can press 2 for edge select. Select these two edges right there, press F. Now select this one edge and press F few times to fill in the geometry right there. This is starting to come together, and now we need to finish with the hood and the trunk. That would be really easy to do. Just select these two edges right there, and with that snapping still set to vertices, we can additionally enable auto merge and press E and hold Control to snap this right there, and you will see this will get merged. So right now we can just slide this by pressing double G to the side a little bit, select this edge here and push it back a tiny bit. Okay, something like this, and now we can do the same in the front. Let's press E, and by holding Control, snap it right there, slide this to the side a little bit, and now push this forward. That will create this nice curvature in the front, and we can additionally create a new loop cut, so we are able to bring this a little bit down like this and create a little bit of that car curvature. Okay, and now what I want to do is to select these two edges right there and move them towards the front a little bit, and now we'll create a triangle right here by selecting two edges and pressing F. We are able to select these two edges, press E, and by holding Control, snap it right here. Select this one here and push it towards the front. So we are able to create an interesting design like this, but maybe it will be fine to push both of those edges like this. Okay, and now the front one. Okay, and let's push this down. So let's press G then Z and snap it right here. We have some interesting design going on, so we can just select these two edges, press E, and continue snapping like this once again. And I think I will leave it like this for a while, and let's go to the back side, and we'll do basically the same thing here. So I will first move this towards the back, create the triangle right here, and now select these two edges, press E and snap it right here. Select this one here, press G then Z. By holding Control, snap it there and push it back like this, and now we are able to modify this a little bit, bring it down, maybe create a one new cut here to create a little bit of that curvature, and this will work just fine. So let's now finish with some details. I will select the face in the front here, and first of all press I to inset and G then Y and push it inside, and now extrude it once again, scale it down, one more extrude and scale down. This will create this interesting like a rocket design for us, and we can do similar thing here. First of all, Ctrl B to do a simple bevel here. Now select this face, press E to extrude, S to scale down, and extrude outside. And now we can do one more bevel, but increase the number of segments with the mouse wheel to do a light design like this. Now tab in, and I will finish with this part right here. It needs some more work. First of all, I will align this on the Z-axis there and select these two edges and continue extrusion like that until it covers more area like this. I won't probably cover the bottom. You can do that later if you wish to create some kind of drivetrain there, some kind of, I don't know, pipes, tanks, whatever you would like to have there. So this is the base for our design, and now we can select these front faces, press I to inset, let's hit B to enable boundary so it merges in the middle there, and let's just press E and Y to extrude this like that. And now we can press S and Y to scale it and make it flat. It will create an interesting design there, and maybe we can push this to the side a little bit. Okay, and you can now just press Ctrl 2 for some subdivision modifier, and you will have some nice design here that needs to be, of course, refined. You can add loop cuts to create harder edges, some creases and stuff like that. But basically, this is the way how I created that car. I will now go ahead and create some details. I'm a little bit quicker, so I will comment on some things, but I will probably not mention every keystroke. And then I will proceed and time-lapse the finishing process, the lighting, and creating a little scene as always, so we can see how this can be used and applied in the final render. So let's go ahead, and first of all, I want to shade smooth. I will work with the smooth shaded model from now on, and I'll try to create a crease like this by adding a loop. So we have some more aerodynamic design there, and now select this part here and just extrude it down once more, then insetting and extruding out. It will create a nice little detail like this. And of course, I want to create those wings. Let me just go into the edit mode, and I will select this edge right here, press Shift D and P to separate. And I do this quite often to reuse geometry. Now I will look from the side and extrude some kind of wing design, make this smaller here, maybe scale it on the y-axis and push it down a little bit, and then add some loop so it kind of touches there at the bottom and here at the top as well. Now I'll just select all and extrude to give this some volume, and I will select the top face, press Shift D and P to separate, and continue extruding a wing. And it will merge in the front, so only thing we need is to add some support loop and push this outside a little bit. And here you can play with the design, with the shape, however you like, and this is something you should have in the end, and then you can just extrude it to give this some volume. And since it's a subdivision modifier, it will create this nice wing profile. But if you want, you can create a new loop cut and bring this part higher up so it's even more pronounced. And I will now shade smooth these two parts. And what I want to do right now is to add some more support loops to create some harder edges here and there. For example, here, and maybe here in the back. Okay, and I want to separate the cabin right now. We used the shape of the cabin to form the rest of the model, but now it's time to separate it because I want it to be transparent, so I need to model some kind of cockpit there. So first of all, let's select one of these faces and Ctrl Shift click there, select the rest of it and just press P to separate it. And you can see this will create this hard edge because there is a subdivision modifier there. So we can now just hide this. We have a hole in place, and we can select this inside loop and just extrude it down like this, maybe scale it, and maybe bevel this to add some support loop. Just like that. And now I want to cover the bottom, so I will just fill this and press Ctrl B to create another bevel there as well. So we have some opening in place, and now we can just unhide our glass cockpit. And I want to add a solidify modifier there and enable auto smoothing, so we have that hard edge there. And let's modify the solidify so it's a little bit thicker, maybe. Okay, something like this. And now we can tab in and maybe push it down a little bit. and scale it up so it better covers that new opening. And now I will just hide it, and let me just separate a little bit more of the geometry to create some kind of cockpit design. I will just extrude this right there and push it down and create a new cut there. Right click, shade smooth, and to better place it we can just scale it on x-axis, maybe make it a little bit smaller. So we have something like this in the end, and now we can just push this a little bit back so we create some kind of slope there, and we can create seats there, or we can create just one seat so it's a little bit more interesting there. So let's snap cursor to select it, and let's create a new plane. Let's scale it down, tab in, push it back so we move the origin point as well. And now we can extrude this, press Ctrl 2 for subdivision modifier, and play with the design a little bit. We can create an inset there, push it down, and now we can press A to select all. We can look from the side, tab in, duplicate this, and scale it on the y-axis, for example, and try to create some kind of interesting design there as well. Maybe cut it in the middle here and push it back like this. So whatever works for you, basically. Okay, and we can make this a little bit larger. Okay, and now we'll need to check whether this works with the cabin. So let's unhide it, and it looks fine in my opinion. So I think I will leave it like this, and I can see still through here. Let's just scale this up a little bit more, just like that. And let's create some detail. Let's add the mirror modifier there so it's a little bit easier. Let's extrude this part. Extrude, let's press Ctrl 2. Okay, something like this will do basically. I don't want to go more in depth because that will take a lot of time. So let's just smooth everything, unhide everything, and basically this should be it. As I remember correctly, there were some wings on the side there as well, and some rocket engines at the bottom, but we can create it just like this. I will just reuse some of that geometry right here to create that wing design. Okay, extrude and make this part more bulky. Okay, and push it down, maybe inside a little bit. Okay, I really like the final design. Yeah, that's the car, and I will now proceed and give this some material, create the glass cockpit, set up the HDRI for the scene so the glass really stands out, create some basic lighting, and we'll be good to go. That was the hover car for you. I really hope you enjoyed this and you were able to follow. Again, if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see content like this in the future, please hit that subscribe button and the bell button to get notified when I release something new. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.